Good morning, Northside. Good morning, church. We're just going to continue a little bit of our theme from Sunday and from yesterday's devotion, pouring down rain outside here. So I want you to consider the correction of the Lord. We've been talking about what we tell our children and how we influence our family. Deuteronomy 11, verse 1 says, "You shall therefore love the Lord your God and keep His charge, His statutes, His rules, and His commandments always. And consider today, since I'm not speaking to your children who have not known or seen it," Moses writing to a generation of people who did not see the wilderness wanderings, consider today the discipline of the Lord your God, His greatness, His mighty hand, His outstretched arm, His signs, and His deeds He did in Egypt. And then Moses goes on to recount a whole bunch of the little storylines that are pretty significant. But the text says to remember, consider, ponder, think about the chastening, the discipline, the correction of the Lord. It's a Hebrew word that means all of His instructions, especially the ones that were during when He was warning you. Consider the warnings you got from the Lord. Consider the discipline you got from the Lord. Moses recounts the stories of the plagues of Egypt. Those were disciplines on the Egyptians. He remembers the redemptive path, fleeing from Egypt. He talks about the armies of Egypt being destroyed in the Red Sea and God's correcting Israel itself, His people, while they were in the wilderness wanderings. He goes on to say, remember how He dealt with Eliab and his rebellion and his disobedience, how the ground opened up and swallowed him up and all his followers in their tents and every living thing that followed them. Remember that. So Moses is saying we really need to pay attention to the way the Lord disciplines, corrects, and helps us. His chastenings, let's remember them. And in those remembrances, then He throws in this incredible little phrase, consider the discipline of the Lord your God. And then He just lists these attributes: His greatness, His mighty hand, His outstretched arm, His signs, and His deeds. So let's remember that in His chastening of us, He is displaying His greatness, His mighty power, His outstretched arm, having to do with the love and the correction that He's bringing us into His life as a father, saying, hey, I don't want you to go that way, come back this way. And you can tie this to Sunday's messages. We need to tell all our children the stories of how God chastened us, how God loved us with His outstretched arms, how His mighty hand protected us and also disciplined us to bring us back into correction with Him. So I pray you'll talk a lot about how God works in your life to your children, to your family, to your co-workers, to everybody. I go back to Mark chapter 5. Jesus is talking to the former demoniac man. Go and tell everyone about the mercies that I have shown you. You guys be blessed. We'll see you back soon.